starting a new theme this month, and so our theme this month is the courage to be you. We're talking about issues of the concept of spiritual power and how to embody it and how it operates with us. You know, power is one of those words that we kind of get hold in arm's length, because power, as it's been taught to us and shown to us, is like sometimes it's interpreted as overpowering something else or someone else. And so that's not the truth about spiritual power, empowerment. It's about being who we are. And so our month theme this month is the courage to be you. As and so just to give the overview, each month this year we are taking a spiritual concept and beginning to realize how much courage it takes to embody it. Let's just be honest about it. It takes courage to live a full, fulfilling life. It takes courage to be empowered. It takes courage to love freely. It takes courage to do these things, to be who we truly are in this world that's sending us different images and messages and ideas about who we should be, or who the world thinks we should be, and who the people around us think we should be, and what it should look like, right? And so what we're trying to do this year is to break the chains of that, and step into our power and into our courage enough to just be who we are. And so the theme for this month that we set a whole bunch of time ago was the courage to be you. But I've kind of shifted it for today, and we'll see if it sticks for the whole month, but it's the courage to find your way. Because truth is, you are you. You are the unique, quirky, crazy person that you are. And there's nothing we can do to get out of it. We try to pretend to be somebody else. For a lot of our lives, a bunch of people, we walk along trying to have the perfect life and create the perfect situation and be who we're supposed to be. But you know what? You're you, and you can't get out of it. You're always going to be you. It's always going to be there. And so the courage, what I'm looking at in terms of stepping into our empowerment, is to really engage with your life in a way that allows you to find your way. It's going to allow you to, by stepping into who we truly are, by embracing that and allowing us to be who we are, we get to engage with life on a different level and find our way along the journey here. And so as we start, we're going to start from that beginning place, to realize that we have been given a gift, which is this life, this breath, this day. And as we are coming up on, like I said, my birthday's this week, and that's always such a really confronting situation. I don't know about you, but birthdays are a big deal to me. I've been trying to explain to my husband and my family for, 19 years now, why it's a big deal to me. But birthdays have always been a big deal to me. I don't really know why. But especially after the last couple of years and the things that we've gone through and the health challenge that I had and all of that, let me tell you, birthdays are really important now because they're really important to me. And as is each day. The fact that we get to wake up every day and experience this life is a blessing, and it's a gift. And the fact that we can consciously engage in our life in a way that we can co-create. Look at me, it's like already tears are coming, it's funny. Okay, not bad tears, joyful tears, right? Tears of gratitude and light and love. I just knew that they would sparkle in the light there. A little duty today. Okay, so the idea that we get to co-create, like not only just have life be thrown into this washing machine of a life that we're experiencing, right? Sometimes it feels like that. But that's not the situation, that we are co-creators, that we get to create something new, that we get to engage with life in such a way that allows us to bring forth those desires and those yearnings and that calling from within us into experience, if we allow it. And so what we're going to talk about this month is how we can allow it better, how we can do this better. Because you know what, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. You're here. You got up this morning, you got yourself here. Yay! Let's celebrate that, you know? And so I know from that, I know that there's a part of you that's ready to take another step, right?
Right, yes.
There's part of you that's ready to take that next evolution, to let what's coming next for your soul and your spirit to come forward in your life. I know that that's the truth, whether you're conscious of that or not, whether your friends dragged you here just because they promised you brunch or not. You're still here, and that's the truth for you too. So what we start with is we start with the idea that well, let me start with this. As I was starting to get ready for this month and starting to do my research, I was just so grateful that my friend Oprah put out a new book. And I'll tell you, I love this book. I had a whole different path. I had a whole other thing. I had all the weeks laid out. I had everything set up. But then she let out a book, and I was like, well, maybe. And she put it up for free on Instagram. And I was like, oh, look, I got the book, you know. And so then I had to order it, and she gave it out on an e-copy of it, and I started reading it. So then I ordered like 5 copies. And was like, okay, because not only, and God bless Oprah, but even from the first quote, she got me, and this is what she said. The first quote in the book says this: "There's no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born. And not only that, it's how you become most alive." And I got it in that moment. I was like, no, this is the work we need to be doing. Because what we're calling forth is to be more alive, to have that energy, to have that engagement, to have that excitement about life again, to have something to hold on to when we go through those rough moments, to have something that we believe so strongly in that it guides us and supports us and buoys us up when we feel like we're in the washing machine of life. And that's God, and that's you. Because they're the same thing. We are connected so intimately to that divine creator that has brought us forth. But what has happened is that we have thought that we've had to do it ourselves. We've thought that we have to figure it out. We have cut ourselves off from that divine life and from that infinite wisdom and that lover of our souls that wants to support us, that wants to guide us. It's like banging on our heads. Hello, over here, over here, over here, right? I remember I'm having I'm sharing all my issues today, sorry about that, but I'm having a week because my daughter's about to finish elementary school on Wednesday, okay? So I'm like, that's part of it. All my emotions are there. And I'm watching all of my friends who've got kids who are graduating from high school, you know, in my heart. My nephew's graduating today in Michigan, and my niece graduated last week in South Carolina, and all of these, you know, graduation is such a big deal, but my baby is leaving elementary school into the big bad middle school, and so I'm like, a little bit, you know. But the idea that, and I don't even remember why I started to tell you that story. I got so tied into that story. Oh my goodness. Why did I tell you that story?
It's a good story.
It is a good story. I just know that there's a point to it. I just can't remember what that is. I'm glad we're not live streaming today. Anyways, okay. So, well, whatever. So that's happening this week, but maybe there's a point here. I really can't find it. It's funny. Okay, so I am who I am, and this is what we're talking about. Okay, so what are we talking about? So the idea, though, that, well, wherever I was going with that is really funny to me that I think about. Okay. What I do, well, I'm just going to jump over that. So. That really cracks me up. Okay. So anyways, when I start with new material, and we start to dive into what's going on, and when we take a new concept, what I normally do is I sit and I ask a couple of questions. And the questions I ask myself to start to figure out where we go with it is, what is this all about? And what's the point? What's the point? What's the point for us to find our way? What's the point for us to live a more engaged life? You know, so many of us come up in this life and we are taught as to how it's supposed to work, right? We go through school and then we figure out our vocation and we work and we make some money, we save it, and we hope to get a lot of it, and so we can have a lot of good stuff, and we hope to find our right partner, and we get married and have a family, or whatever the story is that we're given, right? We're each given a story as to what we think our life's supposed to be like. And truth is that it never is like that. Truth is that it never comes out the way. And if it does, something else shows up too, right? You can invite the story in. But what happens is that we get to a place in our lives when we have everything that we need, that we have the job, and we have the money, maybe, enough, and we work on building our family and the structures of our life as to what we think they're supposed to be, and then we get them there, and then there we are. Are we happy? Are we fulfilled? So often we get to a place in our life when we've achieved a certain level and we figure out that it's hollow. That we still have something. I should be happy. I have everything out here. I should be happy. I should be grateful. I should, and I'm not. There's a hole. There's something missing. And that's because we have aligned our purpose with our job. We've aligned our purpose with our definitions of ourselves. And you can think about all the definitions that you have in your life. You're a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, a minister, a barista. You know, I love the baristas. Or whatever, whatever you think you are. I'm an analyst, I'm a this, I'm a that. That's not who you are. That's what you do. But our purpose, our true nature, is not about just your job. Your purpose in this life is about being who you are. It doesn't matter which job you have. And of course, we have evolved as a society, as a culture, to we no longer have a job for 35 years, right? Like my dad did. He got his watch, he got his clock when he retired. 37 years after he started at one company, right? That's not the trend anymore. We have different chapters of our lives. We have different adventures. We have different careers. I'm on my 4th. Who knows what number 5 is going to be? After today, it might be quicker. Chef, maybe baker, I don't know, something. But the truth is that true fulfillment, peace, satisfaction, a comfort level with ourselves in our life is really important for us to create the life you want to create. And we'll never find that from any of those roles or definitions that we give ourselves. We only find that from our deep connection to the divine. We only realize that when we understand that we are living a spiritual life. And there's something greater than this, and your life is meaningful. Sometimes we think that if I just live this little life and I do what I'm supposed to do and I'm going along and doing this, that's all I need, right? Well, that's where deep dissatisfaction will end up coming back and waking up in the most strange moments. Usually it's 3 o'clock in the morning when you decide that. But in order for you to, and the thing I love about this is that I can point the way for you, right? Like I can see that each person in this room and everybody that I come in contact with, and it's really fun in Starbucks, let me tell you, when I start to see the amazing potential that's alive within each person. I have trained my eye to see and know the truth that you are empowered. And so when you come and talk to me, when people come and sit with me and do counseling, or when we do whatever it is that we're doing in classes, or even just talking over coffee after service, I can see that there's no limit to what you want. There's no limit to your potential. There's no limit that's going to hold you back. But you're the one who has to find that. You are the one who has to find that place where that's true within you and hold on to that. You're the one that has to dig through all of those doubts, all of that sense of limitation, all of those things that you think are wrong with you, all of those things that make you think you're broken or you're used up or you're too old or you're too whatever. It doesn't matter. None of those things are really true. Those are just roadblocks that we put in our way to being magnificent. Those are roadblocks that we put in our way to allowing ourselves to shine our light brightly. And it's only by going within, going into that inner place and connecting to that power and that presence that loves you so much that it moved mountains to create you. And it's only as we dive into that we can start to realize that it's time to bring it forward. That all that stuff isn't true. But we never let ourselves get there because we keep ourselves so busy. We're on this roller coaster of a life, right? We hold on for dear life and it keeps zooming. And we keep ourselves, the busier the better. And the more we keep going, the more we do, and it just keeps spinning and spinning, and then you're in the washing machine. And it's amazing to me, I have all of these friends and people who come through my life who are newly retired or retiring or in their retirement. They're more busy than anybody who's working. Yeah. Tuesday afternoon, I got to do this. Tuesday night, I'm here. Wednesday morning, I'm here. Thursday, I hear it all the time. I'm like, wow, retirement is tiring. So the idea is that we keep ourselves too busy to understand who we truly are. We keep ourselves too busy thinking, well, I have to do good at my job, and I have to take care of my family, and I have to do this, to give ourselves ourselves time to do any self-reflection, to do any time with ourselves. I always talk about God, our relationship with God, like as if it's dating, right? Because God is the lover of your soul. God is the one that wants to give you things. God's the one that wants to care for you and love you from the inside out. Hello? That's a great date, right? That's someone I would want to date, you know? And the truth is here, I can, in classes and on Sundays, what I try to do is I try to inspire you. So I try to, I can help you fix up that spiritualmatch.com profile of yours, you know? And I can make the reservation for you and God to go out to dinner, but I can't date it for you. You're the one who has to do it. You're the one who has to make time for your relationship with the one. You're the one that has to welcome it. Think about how we would attract a partner. Would you do it by keeping yourself so busy that you can't return their phone calls? When God's tapping you on the shoulder of your life saying, look over here, and you're like, I'm too busy, do you think that's going to be a good date? Is that going to be a good partner for you? What we have to do is make space, right? They say for singles who want to attract a partner that you clear out half of your closet, right? That you have space in the closet, you know? That you have space in your house for somebody else if that's what you're wanting to attract. Now, not everybody wants to attract a physical partner, but let's make space for God. How can you make space in your closet for God? It doesn't need to be in the closet. What about in your day? How can you make more space for that divine relationship to guide you and nurture you and support you? We got to figure out a way to do that. And we talk about it, you know, I stand up here and say, meditate, meditate. I don't care if you meditate. I care that you find some quiet time with you and allow that message of your life to reveal itself to you. Because your life is constantly speaking to you. Your life is constantly guiding you. It's like those bumpers in bowling. God's there to guide you along the path. Now, you may not hit all the pins when you get to the end of it, but you're going to get in the direction. And that's what we want to do. We want to find our way. We want to find our way where we're headed. And so there's a couple of things I thought we would talk about today that remind us, that support us in remembering that this is the most important thing. And one is that life is ever evolving. Life is ever evolving. It's never static. You are never stuck in any one situation. Life is the process of evolution. What happens is sometimes we take a limited view of a situation or an experience we're caught in, right? And it can look like failure. It can look like we're failing. It can look like we're making a really big mistake. It can look like a big mess, right? Sometimes our life, I don't know about you, no one's shaking their head. For me, it's like that. Sometimes I've made a big mess of my life. And there are moments when we're stuck in the situation of that, thinking that it's never going to change. That we are stuck in that space and that it's never going to change. And it can feel so real that that's what we believe. But let me tell you, life is ever changing. Life is ever evolving. Life is ever revealing something more. And when we get into that mindset, when we remember that, we allow life to unfold for us and to guide us through whatever the situation is. Let me tell you, if you're stuck in a situation that's hard, that you're hurting in, that's challenging for you, let me tell you, you're in the middle of the story. You haven't come to the end of it yet. Because every story resolves with a step up. Every story resolves with a new awareness or a new enlightenment or a new way of being. And if it doesn't, it's going to come back around again to give you another chance to do it. Because life is ever revealing more of itself. One of my favorite stories is that there was once a king. I was going to say, there was once a Khaleesi. No, there was once a king, for my Game of Thrones fans, I'm keeping it alive there. But there was once a king who got very angry and was about to, you'll know why I said Khaleesi, and who was about to, what's the wording? Put to death many people. And he said to his people, that's why I said Khaleesi, for anybody who knows. There was once a king who was about to put to death many people in his kingdom. He was mad about something, I don't know what. But he said to the people, he said, this is it. If you can come up with something that will make me happy when I'm sad, and sad when I'm happy, you may be spared. And so all the wise men got together and worked all night. And they were trying to figure out what it could be. And they figured it out, and the next day, the king came to them and said, all right, what you got? And they handed him a ring. And he looked at the ring, and he said, I don't see how this could make me happy when I'm sad, and sad when I'm happy. And they said, read the inscription. And the inscription said, this too shall pass. It made him extremely happy. He put it on, and everyone was spared. And so that's what we need to remember is that, and that reminds me constantly, it pops into my head, this too shall pass. It has not come to stay, it has come to pass. And that when we engage with life, we allow that evolution, we allow that growth, we allow that expansion to come forward more. It's about living that full life. And so the first step in finding our way is to really define what's important to us and to begin to embrace that, to begin to embody it, begin to experience it. I often say that if you want to know what's important to you, check out your calendar and your checkbook. Because that's what you're spending your time and your money on. You want to, or I guess we don't do checks anymore, right? We do PayPal or Venmo or whatever. But check what you're spending your money on. Check what you're spending your time on. And see if that's in alignment with what you think is important in your life. We are at a time where we're standing up for our beliefs, and being a presence of light for who we are in the world is so important. It's important for us to own our belief system. It's important for us to stand up for what we believe in. We are moving into a time that we've moved into a time where we are called to do that. Because in a world, in a moment where so many people are screaming and so many people are divisive and challenged, and we've got another situation of a mass shooting this week, we need to stand up for peace if we believe in peace. We need to stand up for love if we believe in love. We need to stand up for respect in every area, in every situation, and it all starts with how we are with ourselves. We have to figure out who we are. And that's the first step of finding our way in the world. Again, Oprah says, do you believe that you're worthy of happiness, success, abundance, and fulfillment, peace, joy, and love? What I know for sure is you become what you believe. You ever heard that before? She's doing our teaching for us. We are born with everything we need right within us. All the capabilities to get us where we want to go. Author James Hillman calls it the great oak within the acorn. Yes, we need the nourishment and the right situation to be able to grow and flourish, but we're the ones who can do that for ourselves. We're the ones who can give us what the equivalent of the sunlight and the good soil and the water is in your life. You're the one to do that. But all of that potential and everything that you need to succeed in your life is right there within you, and it always has been. I sound like Linda the Good Witch. Always had everything that you need right where you are. And what this reminds me of is it reminds me of the parable of the mustard seed. Jesus is teaching. He said, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. And that seed is indeed smaller than, it's a speck, smaller than any of the seeds ever. But when it grows up to be one of the tallest plants and the tallest trees in such a way that even all the birds come and lodge in it. From that tiny beginning to that glorious expression, that's life, and that's alive within you. I love that he goes on to say also that all we need is the faith of a mustard seed. And you can say to the mountain, move, and it moves. So So do you have to jump off the high dive of faith here? No. You don't even have to jump off the low dive of faith here. You just have to have enough faith, as much as a mustard seed. It's a tiny little speck. But you have to have that faith in God, and you have to have that faith in you. So many people say, I trust God. I don't know about myself. Right? I don't know. You have to have that much faith in your capabilities, in your connection to something greater. And that is the beginning of finding your way. It's all you need. And it's really comforting to know that that's all you need. You don't need to jump off the high dive, swan diving into faith, into life, right? I've got a picture of that. We don't need to do that. We just need to find a speck of faith to know the truth of who you are. And then all of life supports us. There's no workaround on it. Because the truth is that your calling, your true nature, has always been part of you. So if we take that bird's eye view of our life, that high view of where you've been and where you're headed, right? When we take a moment to get that overview, maybe it's a balloon festival this weekend, maybe it's really high view that you need to take of your life to see it. But there are themes. There are ideas, there are things that have been moving to you or important to you. And those are the things to look at because that's part of your true nature. Maybe you are the one who's the caregiver, the one who's, I've got friends who collect puppies and strays, stray friends, stray dogs, stray cats, stray things, and you're the caregiver. Maybe that's your theme. That's your purpose. Maybe you are the one who wants to help people figure it out. You're the teacher. Whether it's an archetype or a way of being or whatever, you've got a purpose for being here. If you've got breath in your lungs, you still got a purpose. It doesn't matter the situation of your life. You are purposeful. And it is fulfilling to express that and to know it and to see it and to allow it to come forward. And when we connect with that, that's the magic. The magic comes when we connect with that purpose, when we connect with that theme, everything opens. New possibilities show up. Doors open, windows open, things show up that you have never seen before. My favorite quote from Ernest Holmes of all time is that all nature rises to produce and manifest the freedom of the individual that it may unloose its own energy. All nature, the entire universe, rises to support your freedom. All the universe rises to support you in succeeding. It rises in supporting you in expressing who you are, because you are a part of that divine life and need to express it. Not just once, all the time. No longer holding ourselves back, no longer living in limitation, no longer putting a bushel over your light. You've come to shine. And when you engage with the spiritual life, when you engage with the truth of your being, then everything else outside of us aligns to that truth. And so not only do we get the goodies of God, which we work so hard to get sometimes in this life, not only do you get them, but you get to have the satisfaction of having them too. You get to have the joy of it. You get to have the excitement of it. You get to be a fountain of joy in this life that's inspiring to other people, because when you live your true life, when you live your true nature, you give everyone around you permission to do it too. And it's important that we do that. Reverend Ed Bacon said this: "When I was 5, I was playing alone in a pine grove in South Georgia, and all of a sudden, I felt enveloped by warmth and light. And I heard inaudibly in the deepest part of myself, 'You are the most beloved creature in all of creation.' At the same time I got that message, I also heard, 'And every other person is the most beloved creature in all of creation.'" And he said, "It was that experience of unconditional love that so overwhelmed me and made my life what it is today." You are the beloved of the beloved. You are a purposeful, meaningful creation of God. You have worth, you have meaning, you have purpose. You are here on purpose. And so what we're trying to do this month and where we're headed in this whole year is for us to engage in life in such a way that that's undeniable. That we open those doors and allow the universe to support us, because why not? Why? Why should we live in this sense of limitation, in this sense of malaise, in this sense of discontent? Because God doesn't want you to be unhappy. The universe doesn't want you to be unhappy. We get a glorious sunrise and a beautiful sunset every day to remind us that each and every day is couched in magic and magnificence. And in the middle of the day, you are the light that shines. And so this month, we're going to start by embracing our paths, by opening to the fact that we still have a path, no matter what. It's about reframing how we hold ourselves. You're not broken. You're perfect for the adventure you're on. You're not damaged goods. You've attained wisdom and understanding and perspective that some people will never get. You are not old. You're in perfect order, in the perfect time, to live the life you've come here to live. And so as Jody said, she quoted in her reading today, Lao Tzu had it right. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And so this month we're going to take that step and embracing ourselves, embracing God, and allowing it to bring forth everything that we need to succeed. And so it is.